There are certain movies out there that end on a cliffhanger that teases an upcoming movie. In a previous video, I talked about the fact that Prometheus ends on a cliffhanger where we're wondering, are David and Shaw going to actually get to the planet where the space jockeys are? But also, you have to talk about Star Wars The Force Awakens, one of the most famous recent examples of a movie ending on a cliffhanger where Rey's about to give Luke's lightsaber back to him, and the movie just leaves you on that note, wondering what's going to happen next. Is Luke going to take the lightsaber or not? Also, Avengers Infinity War famously ends on a cliffhanger where Thanos actually wins. He snaps his fingers, and thus half of all life in the universe turns to dust. But we as the audience know there's going to be a part two. We know that our heroes are, in the end, going to win against Thanos. It's just a question of how exactly will that play out. And also, it's set up that Captain Marvel's going to be in the next movie. When is she going to show up? How are the Avengers going to reband to defeat Thanos? Also, you have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse just last year. That one ended on a hard cliffhanger where the movie's just building up to the battle against Spot. The music's ramping up as we see our Spider-Men are about to head off to fight against the villain Spot. And then the movie just ends. So it leaves you on that note where there's not a resolution to the plot specifically. So we're wondering what exactly is going to happen next. I thought it worked well in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse because Gwen's arc was concluded, and it's pretty clear to me that the filmmakers here have a plan. They know what they're doing. Whereas I think the big problem with the Force Awakens cliffhanger is, especially after the fact, after the sequel trilogy came out, it's just so incredibly clear that Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, didn't know what they were doing with the sequel trilogy. They didn't have a plan, they didn't have a roadmap, they didn't have a vision. There wasn't one grand idea or several ideas they were trying to communicate. It was just, we want to put out Star Wars movies that will sell tickets. They didn't take the time to actually plan out where the trilogy was going to go, and that was a big mistake. And then I already talked about why I don't like the cliffhanger for Prometheus, because the whole movie is about raising questions and not providing answers, and then it ends on a cliffhanger. With Avengers Infinity War, I think the cliffhanger worked there, because it was a dark way to end the movie. It's like, wow, the villain actually won. But at the same time, we as the audience know that some of these characters are coming back. We know that there's going to be a part two. We know that Endgame is coming up. And by that point, it was very clear that Marvel knew what they were doing. Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, they had a vision, they had a roadmap, they had a plan. They knew where the story was going next. And so the cliffhanger actually worked there.